Why is everybody talking about Palantir? Even I'm talking about Palantir. Seriously, check this out. This is just from today, January 20th. There's no doubt that this Seeking Alpha article could be the issue. One of Seeking Alpha's writers says Palantir, fair value of $5, and everybody goes crazy. I've even found myself making several comments about Palantir and Palantir stock. Even though Palantir is still worth about $30 billion for the company, its stock has really been hit hard over the last year. With the way the market is going in the last month, we really should be looking at the market as a whole. Markets certainly look like they're in a downtrend and things aren't going the way investors would like them to. But the reality is markets are still at their all-time highs. Looking at some of these index charts, you'd think the market's doing very well. But for some investors, they were hurt greatly in 2021 and going into 2022. This is why it's important to step back, take a look at the big picture of what's going on in the markets. There are a lot of people who think that companies like Palantir, Snowflake, and Tesla can go no lower. Many laugh and mock the $5 price target given to Palantir by the author at Seeking Alpha. But the markets could have a serious issue on hand. Federal funds effective rate are basically at zero. Let's check out the interest rate action and how it relates to market movement. In the late 90s, as the dot-com bubble was expanding, Alan Greenspan tried to put on some brakes by increasing the Fed funds effective rate. By the time the Fed funds effective rate got to nearly 7%, and then exacerbated by the attacks of 9/11, the market tanked. Basically, any growth stocks, non-profitable companies got annihilated. Some of those companies were good, they just weren't profitable yet. And then looking at the markets of the early 2000s, this was a time to get really good deals. I mean, just think of all those names. Nortel, Lucent, many companies that would one day be a complete failure. But they were also the companies that made it. I mean, do you remember TASR? Its stock was crushed in the dot-com bust. I remember it was going from about $3 all the way to $120 in a pretty short amount of time. I mean, look at this, the title of this guy's video, 1,300% gain in 30 weeks, the story of TASR. Even back then, there were the Smile Direct clubs of the market. They had those LASIK companies like LCA Vision. Actually surprised I found a YouTube video on that. That's pretty cool. Obviously, this is 12 years old, but hey, at least there's a little bit of history there. There were all sorts of stocks that crashed, but there were also so many that boomed back in a short period of time. So when looking at stocks like Palantir, this is what we need to think about. The market is barely down, yet a lot of these growth stocks have already been annihilated, and there could be much, much more pain to come. But we need to look to the future to find those stocks that are going to make a huge rebound. Can we find the Amazons or the Oracles? Maybe that company is Palantir. Just keep in mind that nothing's happened. The Fed hasn't raised rates. The markets are still at their all-time highs, and the poor earnings reports have only just begun. So maybe it's a good time to stockpile and hold on to a little bit of cash. Because like I always say, cash is trash until you don't have any.